Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation. Today, I am going to do a little bit of a recap of the key points from Dr. Pillai's most recent wealth workshops. And my name is Gina Guerreri, or Jay Radha, as my spiritual name, as some of you know. And what we wanted to do in this presentation was consolidate everything because there were over 3 hours of amazing content from Dr. Pillai and Elaine Mohini, and it's a lot. So what we did was we consolidated it into some key points, and then I'll also be uh, going through what the meditation Mohini did. I won't be doing the meditation, but I'll just tell you recap what that is, what you should be doing on a regular basis, and then and then I'll tell you a little bit about the Wealth Rising program. So let's get started. So Dr. Pillai has some key points that he makes throughout the 3 sessions that he did. And one of the predominant ones, and certainly one of the key points up front, with changing your mindset, that everything we do comes back to the container that is our mindset. And that container can be called a karma, karmic thoughts, our perception, our ability to conceive, all the things that keep us limited in what our mindset allows us to think, right? So we only get to have certain thoughts, and those thoughts are dependent upon what our mindset allows us to have. And he talks about different mindsets and different money karma. So what we want to be doing is to remove the mental blocks that we have, transform the current mindset that we have so that we can think differently. And he gives the example of how much can you conceive of? Can you conceive of 1 billion, 100 billion, 100 million, or do you have a mental block? Right? So because it's not as if it's not possible. There are people in this world who do have that mindset, right? So it's by all means possible. And the sound Shreem Brzee is what allows us to shift that mindset. And it's over time. He's very specific about saying that this is not going to happen to you overnight by chanting 100 times or 1,000,000 times even. That this is a slow process, and actually the deeper you go into the mantra, the more powerful it becomes for you. He gives the example of Wayne Dyer: you cannot manifest that which you cannot conceive. And that goes back to where the mindset comes from. And Dr. Pillai mentions that it's biological, it's psychological, and it's at the soul level. So biologically, our DNA gets passed on to us from our ancestors. So think about your lineage and think about how probably similar you are to the people you've come from, the culture, the mindset of your parents, your grandparents, right? We typically don't veer too far off. I mean, we can make changes, and of course with Dr. Pillai's teachings we make more changes. And then there's the super exception of, the athlete who comes from a really poor upbringing and he's just got a way different karma, right? But think of your biological karmic mindset and what's been coming through, and then you have your psychological. So what are you thinking on a regular basis? And then the soul level, to me, and the psychological, we have tools on the earth plane for that already, right? We do have tools of therapy, even medication, dealing with our mind and how we use it. So there's that already. And then the soul level, I think, is particularly interesting because not a whole lot of beings address this, and Dr. Pillai does, and it's being addressed with meditation, these technologies, as well as spiritual technology, or rituals, we call them, right, that are done in India or even at home. Believing disables negative thoughts. He mentions that we can shift our mindset through the active participation in faith. Now, faith, Dr. Pillai has also said, is a gift. It's like a gift from God, but we can implement it as much as we possibly can through the use of mantras, as well as through our active participation in what we're willing to let go of in our constraints, so that we can be open to believing what might be possible for us. He talks about being responsible for our own negativity. Always important to bring it back to who's responsible here. And then changing the belief system. As I mentioned, the biological goes into the genetics as well as the soul genetics, as your ancestors are passing content on to you, right? They're passing their thoughts on to you. And we have remedies for that as well, right? So happens to be Mahalaya, one of the most powerful times of the year to appease your ancestors, make offerings to them, and have some of that shift for us. So perfect timing to be able to be shifting your money mindset through spiritual technology. So I'm not going to get into that today, but there's plenty on the Pillai Center Facebook page. We've been posting a lot of what to do and how to do it on soul genetics and Tarpanam. So go check that out. Belief is so important. Changing your mindset will be able to shift yourself into that center of where you're at, what you can believe in. Now, it's not easy, right? Like, so he's not sugarcoating this. This isn't just like, I'm going to wake up one morning and think differently. This is a process. And the reason why we stress community so much is because when we're not in community, we're just in our own container again. And we already know that what that container looks like, because we think those thoughts every single day. So what we want to be doing is thinking outside of that container, outside of the box that we have as our identity, as our thought processes. And community helps do that. Teachers help do that. If I didn't study with Dr. Pillai, I don't have a whole lot of discipline all by myself. So I need the training wheels in the beginning, and then the instructions, and then the ongoing interaction. And I don't even mean physical interaction or speaking with him. I just mean when he comes up with a new concept, or he's focusing on something and he passes that on to his students, we all get that. And right now it's Shreem Brzee. So that's what's super exciting about this mantra and these, the teachings here, is that we need that support from him. And thankfully, he's been giving it freely to the world for quite some time. And then more particularly in this past couple of weeks when he did these workshops. Train your mind to remain focused. Can everyone become a millionaire? Yes, if you remain focused. Again, not sugarcoating that this is easy, that one day you're going to wake up and be like, I'm going to be a millionaire and I'm going to focus on this all day long. Because if you did focus on it all day long, it would be able to manifest that much faster. However, we have karmic thoughts that come up and life happens, and we're all of a sudden drawn down a path of what we had to do that day, or what we're normally think about, continuing to normally think about that. But when you focus on one thought or focus on a mantra, then we're all able to shift the mindset into something more positive. We're literally raising the vibration of our mind and our body. So again, this comes back to support and needing reminders. So on your own, Dr. Pillai has recommended to set a beeping watch. That's old school, right? Beeping watch. Or you can set something on your phone, set timers. There's apps now that you can set to remind you every 5 minutes or an hour. And that is a great way. So this is a key tip on reminding yourself to stay focused. He talks about the mantra as holding this special power and the sound waves to create. And that's why when you do your reminders or your beeping watch or your app, you want to do both the goal of what it is you want to focus on as well as the mantra. Both of them are going to be ideal. And he also talked about how this program, Wealth Rising, is about training the mind. First, you get your thoughts to a certain level of control, and then you learn how to train the mind beyond that. And he's going to be providing those teachings. Every second is new. Every moment is new. It is something that Dr. Pillai has been saying for decades, right? And probably lifetimes. And so it's so important for us to do our best to be in this moment and refine our consciousness to a level that is, he calls it atomic. He mentions that you could say the mantra millions of times, but if you're in the right mindset, if you said it once, it would impact you the same as repeating it a million times. So how do you get into that mindset? Refining your consciousness, meditation, doing it at the right time, knowing when the right times to do it is, and tapping into that consciousness. Using Dr. Pillai's energy, the darshan, the energy, the empowerment that he's giving out, and bringing that into your regular and daily life. He talks about the breath and how the breath is associated with the mind and thoughts. So this is just a reiteration. Nothing's going to change unless we change our karma and our mindset. And where this comes from, so I won't go into all the details again, but he was really big on the fact that you don't need an education. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what your circumstances are. What we're shifting is the container. I keep saying container because it helps me think of like my body and my mind, and this is who I think I am, and this is what I live in. This is like my playground. Like this is my mind's playground. It's where I go. And so if I can shift that into a whole nother world, like what if it became bigger and more shiny and more possibilities and more people, different types of people inside of it, then guess what? My mind and my life gets to shift because of that. So that's where we're going with Dr. Pillai's teachings. This is what he gives. This is what the program is going to handle. It's all about being able to shift yourself into something new, to be able to allow a different set of a different reality into that container. He talks about moving from the frontal lobe to the midbrain. Now this is important because the frontal lobe is it's the part of the brain that is designed to keep us alive, right? So we can't blame it or feel bad about it, but it gives you a fear of death, making sure that you're safe, allowing you to move throughout the day without walking in front of traffic, right? Like healthy fears. But then it also, that negativity, if you will, bleeds into what's possible for us. And some of those are not healthy fears. They're not gonna help us in the long run. And so what we want to be able to do is shift our focus and our consciousness from that frontal lobe area into the midbrain. So you're shifting your energy from like your forehead basically back into the center of the brain. And then when you put Shreem Brzee there, You're inside of, because the midbrain it doesn't have limitations. It doesn't know. It doesn't think about, oh my gosh, I need to stay alive. It's the what Dr. Pillai calls the God brain. So the miracle brain. It has unlimited a possibility. So that's where you want to put Shreem Brzee. And as you put it there, then watch the vibration unfold throughout the rest of the brain, the body, the mind. And when that happens, then life, the reality outside of you, starts showing up for that new mindset. Things will begin to happen. It's amazing. We started the program, Wealth Rising, and we actually started weekly calls last week, the September 8th. And even though it just started, and there's not even a new meditation, same meditation as what we're going to, what I'm teaching here. But people have already had results because they are they're being positive. They are, they've been doing it for some time, but not anything more than just chanting, actually. They've been doing the chanting for a while, and they're noticing that what's showing up in their life are opportunities, people approaching them, their business going up, I wouldn't say randomly, but randomly as it would appear in this world, but not randomly in the sense that we wouldn't know where it's coming from, because it's coming from Shreem Brzee, right? It's coming from their connection to that and their use of the mantra. So manifesting, we talked about mindset, what it is to live inside that container, and now manifesting with it. How to manifest material reality working with divine help. Dr. Pillai is all about divine help, divine intervention, and that's what all of his teachings are. So he talks a lot about money, because it's such a reality for us on the earth plane. I mean, I feel like spiritual people have this duality around approach to money, like, well, I'm spiritual, so I should be spiritual, but then, oh my God, I have to pay my bills, and we almost demonize the desire for money. Like, if I desire money, then I must be greedy, or if I desire money, then maybe I'm like those other people who who misuse their power and money. And what we need to do is reconcile that. And there's gods and goddesses. Dr. Pillai calls them archetypes. There's the Holy Spirit. There's so much divine support to help us to get beyond that restriction, and also then to get us beyond that mental restriction into a world of total prosperity. And one of my favorite quotes from Dr. Pillai is, "God is not poor." I just love that. God is not poor. So why are you? why are we willing to accept poverty when the highest of all things, the divine, is not poor in any sense? There is no lack. What is poor? Poor is lacking. Poverty is lacking. It's scarcity. God is absolute abundance. So if you're in absolute abundance consciousness, why wouldn't you also have material and spiritual blessings? And and that's something we have to work out if it's not already in our consciousness. He talks about the Bible giving offerings. God says, "Give me a call. I'll answer all of your calls, and I will make the end of the earth as your inheritance." So the example of abundance in the Bible, Lakshmi, Vishnu, example of Hindu gods and goddesses who are all about abundance. To manifest, embrace only positive, unlimited thoughts and emotionalize them. So this was key for when I started studying with Dr. Pillai. He mentioned this, and I gave it a try, and I couldn't, and it worked all the time. And the key is emotionalizing it, to really want it. And so if you take only this key point and you do it, you will have changes in your life and your meditation. So please just listen up for a minute. I know I'm talking a lot, but the process is close your eyes. You don't have to do this right now, but I'm just saying this is what the process is. You close your eyes, you go into a deep, to be able to close off what's going on in your world. And then you go into a deep visualization, a deep experience, not just a visualization, but you're experiencing it. And inside of this experience, you're feeling what it feels like to have what you're visualizing. So it's not just I'm projecting this onto the wall as a visualization. It is an experience. What does it feel like? Who's there? What are the emotions for you? And what I find to be most helpful is when I'm just totally loving it. I did this several times. I did this to manifest a home for my beloved doggy. I did this when I wanted to manifest an apartment. I did this when I manifested a house. And they were all pretty miraculous, like very, very unusual circumstances that just were not normal. And it was because I just loved it and I knew it. And so please take this when if you can take one thing away, please, it's this, and give it a try. And Dr. Pillai talks about embracing positive, unlimited thoughts. And for me, I wasn't totally unlimited. I was like outside of the realm of possibility, but it wasn't outrageous. It wasn't like I'm going to manifest $1 million home when I really can afford a $300,000 home. It wasn't that, but I did have special circumstances where I needed to have about $50,000 in cash at the closing, and I didn't. And then it ends up through this manifestation, I only needed $15,000 when I closed on my house. So that was pretty good. Like I'm not a millionaire yet, but like it was not a bad manifestation. And it was because of belief and Dr. Pillai's blessings and mantras, for sure. Sound intelligence helps you conceive to manifest. So as we mentioned earlier, the container, the mindset that we have, how do we break through that? We have to be positive, and then the sound will also do the rest. He uses an example of the meditation, moving through the lower chakras into the pineal gland and bringing the procreative energy up from the sex center to the third eye, where you can have it be manifest, as opposed to have it be a sexual experience. You're now bringing it up into the world to create physical reality for you. And that's the one he gave to Wayne Dyer. Intelligence is just a sound wave that is capable of going and opening up the brain and enables you to conceive. This is what Dr. Pillai says. Only when you conceive can you deliver. So I love it when he does he gives the example of conceiving a child versus conceiving of a new business or a home. It's a similar process. Shreem is manifesting energy. He says it's mechanical, and to do it over and over. Spend a half hour every day chanting Shreem Brzee, and he says your consciousness will shift and you'll be filled with the energy to attract wealth and money. That's the minimum, basically, chanting a half an hour. And then I did a video recently because after all of these seminars happened, I was able to spend some time with Dr. Pillai, and I asked him about that. I said, well, you promised people would get a result if they chanted for 30 minutes. He said, yeah, I did. And I said, well, then what about, so is that all they need? And he's like, no, that's not all they need. If they want to achieve anything faster, then they'll need to be in the program. They'll need, in the program, by that I mean having the support, getting new teachings, getting remedies done on your behalf. And that accelerates your ability to have what would have taken longer if you were only chanting half-hour a day. But by all means, if you can't join the program and then be chanting half-hour every day, that should be what you do. The power of sound. Sound changes the structure of your brain. It works like a pill. It's a chemistry. He has mentioned this many times. Removes the blocks, negativities that are not productive for us. Like a banyan tree, it has a seed and then it grows. So that's why it's called bija mantra, right? Or seed sound. It's because it grows within you when it's planted in you. And Dr. Pillai is planting Shreem Brzee inside of you. And then he mentions how putting it into the eyes, the ears, the nose, or eyes, ears, tongue, and the brain helps to instill it deeper. And he's mentioned to me that these are doorways to your consciousness. And so when you plant the sounds in there, they are more fruitful. And that we will recap the meditation as well. Sound frequencies create reality. That's science, right? There's science behind string theory. I'm not going to get into that because I don't understand it. But there's fundamental basis for the program. Sound creates reality. And a long time ago, Dr. Pillai told me sound creates everything that you have. So even if you have crooked teeth, he gave an example. If you have crooked teeth, it's because there was a sound that was responsible for your crooked teeth. Or if you have, I don't know, wavy hair, you have a sound associated in that was created to have that. So think about that. Sound is in everything. And if we can refine the sound of our consciousness, we're refining it to higher levels. We're refining it to accept more wealth. And wealthy people already have that vibration. And then they can become more wealthy with this mantra. And then those who are not wealthy yet can continue to climb up their levels of wealth with these sounds. Shreem Brzee is life. I loved it when he talked about this because it really felt at home to me that this beautiful mantra it's a life form. It's a life form. And he says the stream sound is life and money. And what was interesting was that he said, without money, there is no life. And that really struck me too. And I thought, oh my gosh, because on the earth plane, that's true, right? If we don't have money to sustain ourselves, to feed ourselves, to give shelter, there's no life. To have healthcare, there's no life. So what a powerful image that Shreem is not just this paper thing that is money that buys us stuff, but it is our life force. It is our creative energy. It is our ability to live and give. He says the word for real money, gold, is Shreem. So you can associate Shreem with gold, with life, with creativity. BR, is the sound for birth. It gives birth and it removes karma. I really like this too because he hadn't really talked too much specifically about Brzee before. And so Brzee, BR, the Brzee, is removing our karma, is removing our financial karma as we say it. And he had mentioned a long time ago that it removes scarcity, but he never went into this detail of exactly how the sounds break down and what they give. So I really enjoyed this. Brzee gives birth to being reborn. Shreem Brzee is wealth consciousness itself, but by now we should understand that. And you don't even need to understand it, but we've been hammering it into you. So allowing ourselves to continue to repeat it is what makes it work. People have been asking how to use Shreem Brzee. So there's no hard and fast rules. He always says that. But you can chant it any amount of time per day. You can chant it in sitting meditation by going deeper. That's ideal because the more your consciousness stills, like I said earlier about the atomic consciousness, the more we get still and then use Shreem Brzee and we put it into the doorways of the consciousness as well as the midbrain, that is going deeper as well. But if you can't do that, then do something, right? Always do something. So if you can chant 5 times today, then do that. But if you can have a mala and chant 108 times, do that. Always strive for as much as you can possibly do in your day and have a goal. You could write it out 9 times or 108 times per day. He talks about hammering it into your brain. I like that. He was like, hammer, hammer, hammer. Hammer your brain with the sound. So that means just say it all the time. So throughout your day, say Shreem Brzee as much as you can. Create triggers for yourself. I'm standing on line. I'm at a red light. I'm having a negative thought. I'm listening to someone go on and on about a story I don't care about, right? Chant Shreem Brzee. Whenever there's something that triggers you, anyway, this is what I do. Like there's like something I don't want to deal with. I start chanting a mantra because I'm like, this is a waste of time. Like as soon as my mind is like, this is a waste of time, then I start chanting a mantra. So your triggers may be different. That's what mine are. So you can do that. Try to hold the thought as much as you can, even while you're talking. He mentioned to us a long time ago that if you could be chanting Shreem Brzee and having a conversation, then you're really instilling the mantra into the more subtle levels of yourself. And the more you'll do it, the more you put into it, the faster your manifestation will come. Group chanting is magnifying your meditation. Magnify your meditation with group chanting. We've been having that every week, freely to everyone on Fridays in the program. We'll be doing that often as well as engaging with Dr. Pillai's teachings in the group. You can chant out loud and vocalize and feel the vibration. You can think it and have it become more subtle. And then you can have it become even more subtle as you go into a deeper state of meditation. So there's a progression. The chanting out loud is great if you need that distraction and you like to feel the vibration. And then thinking it can be a little more difficult because you have to require some additional concentration. And then going even deeper is the most powerful version, going more subtle into the atomic level of the consciousness. And they use different parts of the brain. And there's no good or bad. It's just wherever you're at right now, you do what works for you. Fridays are the most powerful time to chant Shreem Brzee. Full moons are very, very powerful. Get the Astroved Hora watch. Just go to the App Store on either iPhone or Android and look up Astroved Hora watch. Download it, do yourself a favor, spend the 99 cents and get the upgraded version to avoid the ads. And it's my best friend. I have it on. I get to see when the Venus Hora is each day, and then I chant during that. We are going to be developing an app soon as well, just for this. So when he talked about Shreem being life, we know that prana or breath is life, and Shreem Brzee is the breath principle. It's prana. Brzee will shatter your identity. I love that. You'll be reborn. The poverty and the prosperity brain are different and linked to different parts of the brain, and Shreem Brzee will recalibrate your brain. He'll be teaching us how to breathe in the program. I can't speak to that because we haven't touched upon that yet, but he'll be giving us some advanced teachings in the program on how to breathe and use Shreem Brzee with the breath. He mentioned that it's dark time, difficult time for humanity, and I don't think anyone would disagree with that, which is why it's so important for us to, as a community, be coming together and helping one another and helping ourselves to Shreem Brzee. There's a Facebook group that you could join. Just look for, I think it's called Wealth Mantra Shreem Brzee. It'll say the official Pillai Center group. Make sure you join that one. And we do challenges in there. So there's free solutions for everyone. And this is prosperity for everyone. I love that. This is the time when the divine has come with a divine solution, and that is Shreem Brzee, prosperity for everyone. He mentions that inside of the Wealth Rising program, spiritual people will have better results because we're more in tune with him and open and positive, and this will have with the use of God's energy and help, we'll be able to accelerate faster. He mentioned that this program is to benefit spiritual people, and Dr. Pillai has always said he wanted to put the money in the hands of the spiritual people. And this is one of the first efforts of that. I mean, he's been doing this for 40 years, but this program that he's creating is to help accelerate our prosperity success as spiritual people. Because we are also involved in refining our consciousness. It's what we do. And we may manifest other things in our life, but we may have mental blocks on wealth. And that's what this is going to break through. Dr. Pillai says, my success depends on your success. So he wants us to succeed. Just the fact that he is putting so much of his consciousness into this program, into the mantra, is absolute. It's the energy transmission of the master. Dr. Pillai is the only living lineage to Brzee mantra because it was given to him by Vishwamitra. So we have direct access to the living master holding the initiation and power of Shreem Brzee. Like, think about that. It never happens in the history of the world unless you're like the first in line to a lineage. And we are. That is incredible. Mind-blowing. So this is our opportunity to take Shreem Brzee and use it, refine our consciousness, go deeper. Speaking of going deeper, this is the meditation. So that's the conclusion of the recap. Those are all the different topics that he touched upon, and we boiled it down. So I will get to questions after. So if you do have questions, you can either write them in the chat or mention them again later when I'm finished with the entire presentation. So the meditation. So Mohini, Dr. Pillai's longest standing and number one student, gave the meditation. Beautiful meditation. There's the audio download. I encourage you to go get the audio. I believe it's on the sales page or it's on the viewing page where you viewed the replays and the live viewing of the workshops. So we're giving that to you. And basically what she did was putting it into the doorways to your consciousness, as I mentioned, and going deep inside. So she went inside the right eye, first with the right eye, then the left brain. So notice you're going from right over to the left. Then the left eye over to the right brain. And then the right ear, the left ear, and the tongue. I've heard Dr. Pillai do this type of meditation several times. And you can listen to the audio, which is wonderful. It's about 13 minutes in length. Or you can just do this on your own and not have any excuse not to do it all day long. Just keep putting the sound into these areas as well as the midbrain. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the program that Dr. Pillai mentioned many times and how this can help support your process. Because at this point, we know Shreem Brzee is going to help us, and we know that chanting a certain amount per day is going to help us. But if we want to go through that karma and change our container, change that mindset faster, then this program is designed to help us do that. It's a 6-month program, so that gives us enough time to really dive in and create consistency. What's so important in our practice is to be consistent. There's going to be 2 levels. It's called silver and gold, and that's geared towards whatever mindset you have right now. So he gave an example is if you can conceive of, or if you can't conceive of making $5,000 per month or more, then you should be in the silver level. And if you can conceive of $5,000 a month or more, then you should be in the gold level, because he's going to do 2 different teachings, 2 different instructions based on where you're at. And you don't have to kind of cheat that. You know what I mean? Like, well, I want to be able to conceive of this. No, if you're in silver, just be in silver. And then, because in 6 months from now, we're probably going to redo this, and then you can upgrade to gold, because by then you'll have shifted your mindset to be able to conceive of $5,000 or more. So own where you're at, pick your program. Both of these programs are going to have a live group initiation with Dr. Pillai. It's going to be through Zoom, so he's going to be able to see your face, which is great, and give you an initiation. He's never done this before, so it's going to be pretty extraordinary, and that's going to be your initiation into the mantra. Then we're going to roll out new teachings every 2 months. So for the first 8 weeks or 2 months, we're going to focus in on the first teaching, whatever he gives us. And then also the karma clearing, because we know that our mindset is karmic. And so we're going to have to do some work on that. So we get the technique, the Shreem Brzee technique, as well as kind of cleaning up underneath, kind of under the covers of what's going on at the soul level, to be able to remove more of that content, that old content. And in addition to that, there will be some remedies, some rituals that get done on your behalf in India. And each program has different remedies. We'll have very detailed daily practice, so there takes the guesswork out of everything. It'll progress each month, and we'll have levels, so that if you know that you have, let's say, 10 minutes a day to do, or 20 minutes a day to do your daily practice, we're going to give you, this is, that's what this is. Or if you go beyond and you want to take it to an hour a day or 40 minutes or whatever. So we're going to be giving 3 different levels of daily practices so that you can fit whatever works best into your schedule. Don't feel like this will be overwhelming or it'll be too much, because we are always going to scale down to whatever works best for you, and then you get to scale up as you go. We have created something called Shreem Brzee TV, and that will be some regular programming that will air. Some will air live, some will be recorded on what you can view each week, and it's going to be new content to help continue to instill the teachings and the program. So what you get. So it's going to be 6 months. There'll be teacher and community support. As I mentioned, right, we talked about this before, how hard it is to shift our consciousness, because we need that support. There'll be live weekly calls with teachers. There will be weekly prayer groups. There will be weekly fire labs. There'll be ways to tune in several times a week, chanting groups. So if you miss one live, we'll be scattering the times so that depending on your time zone, you should be able to hit at least one of them. Everything will be recorded so you can tune in later. And if it's too much, then just do what you can and keep what works best for you. There'll be a Facebook group. It's all private. We'll be putting posts on there as well as answering questions. So you'll be constantly connected to this team. This is so interesting because when we first started doing programs, and back in the day when I started here, it was a weekly call and an email. And I was like, that's what you get. Like, good luck, I'll see you next week. Now it's like daily. You can log into Facebook and you get like an inspirational quote or, a reminder of what you should be doing this week, or someone's sharing what happened to them and it's inspiring you. So that stuff is just so valuable. We're having mantra challenges, kind of setting yourself up for accountability, and pushing yourself to the next level. There's going to be a lot of content in the curriculum, and here's a few of the items. So connecting with Goddess Lakshmi is very important. This is, as I mentioned, right? Shreem is alive. It's life. And that life comes from Lakshmi. She's giving us life. She's giving us her life force. And the more you connect with her and feel her as a being, the more she blesses you. So it's a beautiful part of how we'll connect with Lakshmi, Vishwamitra, Dr. Pillai, the beings who are making this possible, giving thanks and then receiving their blessings in return. So we'll show you how to do that, how to set up an altar. What is an altar? Why that's so important? Creating that sacred space. How to, Dr. Pillai calls it elementalization. And that is basically using the 5 elements to conjure up the being, the divine being, making offerings to them in ways that they want it, and bringing that God or goddess down from the heavens into your room, into your space. Hydration, abhishekam to your yantra. The yantra itself is an incredible technology. Everyone will be getting a yantra. If you're gold, you'll get 2 of them. And what's very interesting is Dr. Pillai has revealed some secret Siddha teachings on a yantra, how it works, and how we use it. And we're going to be giving that out to you in this program. And I'm in love. I'm in love with my Shreem Brzee yantra. And hopefully you will be too by the time you're in the program. We'll be doing some very practical things like what are your goals, setting your goals and tracking them to make sure you are making changes each week. We don't want to be, excuse my reference, like airy fairy of like, oh, you're just gonna meditate. No, you're gonna also figure out what you want in your life and make steps towards that. It takes action as well. There's magic and then there's action. Accountability. So often me, like without accountability, I'm a pretty lazy person, but accountability makes me work. And when I have to be accountable to housemates or family or work, that all motivates me. So accountability to your practice. We'll have a buddy. You can create buddy groups where you stay in touch with just a few people, maybe become friends with them, and help to keep you more on focus. And then, of course, the time energies. Dr. Pillai talks about this so much. He has given me a list of all of the most powerful time shaktis or time energies that we will be revealing to you so that you can use them in the program. And again, the app will also help remind you of that. And of course, we'll be reminding you in the groups and emails and other ways we communicate. So what's in the silver level? You look at the 2-inch by 2-inch Shreem Brzee yantra, this little one that I have. You'll get a financial astrology report. Actually, we shifted this from a 1-year financial astrology report to a live astrology reading, which actually more valuable. And it's a half-hour live astrology reading. So you'll get to have your questions answered, and they're going to focus in on the finances. So you don't want to use this time to be like, well, how do I fix my relationships? That's another time for another day. Like right now you're in finance mode. Use your 30 minutes for that. Remedies, as I mentioned, so powerful. These are rituals that get done on your behalf in India. There will be full moon Shreem Brzee fire labs. Dr. Pillai calls the fire lab the most powerful ritual that we can do, and we'll be having them done on your behalf every month at the most powerful time of the month, which is the full moon. And then karma clearing ceremonies, they get done twice a month. So you have this soul level cleansing being done for you. What's amazing about this program is look at the value versus the price. And even yesterday, Dr. Pillai was like, they're getting a lot. And I was like, they're getting a lot for what we're offering. And he's like, Like, almost like we shouldn't have done that, you know? But the whole idea is that that's what we want. We want you to have a lot. We want you to have success. And at the minimum price we could possibly offer it to you. We have overhead, we have teachers, we have people in India performing rituals for you. All of this is being done, and we do need to charge something. So this is the absolute minimum we came up with. It's $350 for 6 months, which if you calculate that out, that's $50 per month. But if you do the payment plan, it's $65 per month. Obviously, we have admin and more charges to handle on our end when we do monthly payments. So that's the price for silver. And then in gold, we have the same 2x2 yantra, the same 30-minute live astrology reading. And this time we have an additional personalized yantra. It's a 3-inch by 3-inch, and you add your name and birth star on it, which is awesome because, as I mentioned, how powerful the yantra is, right? Like, it's this technology, it's this machine that works on your behalf all the time, like 24/7. And now your name and birth star, which is your identity, is mapped on to the machine that is generating Shreem Brzee all the time. So guess what's going to happen from a esoteric level, right? Like, psychically, your energy is meshing with Shreem Brzee. And then you use that yantra to hydrate it and do ritual to it, and it's empowering it even more. You'll receive a Siddha herb for manifesting. It's something you're going to receive from India, and you'll receive instructions on how to use that as well. It's a root. It's not like something you're going to take internally. There's more remedies in this program because it's a little more expensive. So we do have the same monthly Shreem Brzee Fire Labs, the twice a month karma clearing ceremonies, and then we also have hydration ceremonies, 24, so they're every Friday, and monthly new moon ancestor offerings. How I mentioned earlier how important it was to relieve our DNA, our biological and soul genetic karmas. That's what this is going to do for you. And this program, look at the value. It's valued at $1,697, and it's a single price of $700 or monthly payment of $130. So again, loading it up with as much as we can and charging as minimal as we can for the program itself. There's other remedies packages that you can add on, but I won't get into that right now. I just really want to focus on the programs. But if you want more, and if you can afford more, there's 3 other types of remedies levels that you can add, and which will continue to accelerate the process for you. So bonuses, I'm excited because we started these prep calls last week, and they've been going amazing. People already having experiences, and what they're getting is outline of their daily practice, a new teaching from Dr. Pillai, your community, and then we're doing a meditation together. So the private Facebook groups are already open. The Supply Center Academy program is available for just this content is in there now, and then that's it. That's it. So that's what our prep calls have been, and they'll be for the next 2 weeks as well, the 22nd and the 29th. What's cool about the 22nd is that it's going to be a call as well as a fire lab. So one of the additional bonuses if you sign up early is that myself or Paru, Sarah, will be doing fire labs based in the US, and you'll be able to watch them on Zoom. So that's pretty cool. You'll have an English speaking person walking you through the process. It's quite different from the Indian fire lab that you may watch on a webcast. We used to do these all the time. We haven't done them in years. So it's been a while, and it's the first time we're ever live casting it from visually. So that'll be interesting. So that happens because Navaratri, the 9 Nights of the Goddess, starts on this Wednesday, and the final day, so on the final night of each of the goddesses, we'll be doing a new fire lab. So Durga's is going to be on the 22nd, Lakshmi's is on the 25th, and Saraswati's is on the 28th. So we'll be doing 3 different Navaratri fire labs for the 3 different goddesses on the final night of each of them. And if you sign up, you'll get all that. You'll be able to watch the replay if you sign up later, but uh, it's really about the experience. This one is really about the experience of joining in, watching, listening, praying along. What we do on our fire labs is we do the invocation. We send you the mantra list beforehand so you know exactly what is going on. You can chant along at home, and then we do the offerings and chant the mantra, and then we give you a guided prayer. So it's very different from India, and we do it all in English. so um, so that's the benefit there. There's another bonus we added, which is 108 lotus flower offerings to Goddess Lakshmi in a fire lab in India. So that's at a temple. We're not doing that one, but that's going to be monthly also. So those are bonuses that if you sign up early, you receive them. And getting started. So what I find really interesting about the people who have joined early is that because they made the commitment, they're in the program, their lives are changing already. And that's what's really, really cool. So my encouragement to you is that if you know this is something you want to do, when you start now, your program starts now. It does not start October 1st. Think about if you go on vacation, as soon as you buy tickets, you're pretty much there, right? You're like, you can picture it, you're experiencing it, you're happy about it because you committed, you know it's happening. Same thing as with any program. When you commit to something, it starts. It doesn't start sometime in the future like October 1st. So take the time to think about, or don't take the time to think about, but where in your life do you want to have a breakthrough in? Where in your life do you want to have a breakthrough, and what will it take for that to happen? What excuses are you coming up with right now that will prevent you from taking those steps? And it's not just about this program. It's wherever we've done it. We all do this. Of I'm going to postpone my happiness, or postpone my transformation, or postpone something because maybe there's an excuse of not being ready, or there's something going on. There's always some stagnant energy, and that's the mindset we talked about, right? That's the mindset of where we are getting ourselves stuck. So there's an immense amount of blessings in this program. Dr. Pillai is giving so much away. If you have the means, or if you can come up with the means, then I encourage you to put yourself into it and take that leap of faith and join us for the program. The registration will stay open until September 30th. So if you do need time to come up with the finances, then you do have it until the 30th, and then the program starts on October 1st. So I will take questions now. So I'm now able to see the chat room. Let me see if there's any questions. Okay, Facebook group, we got that. Horror Watch, we got that. Thank you, Ambika. Any questions? So folks, I don't see anything. If you have questions, please post them in the chat. Now I'll be able to take a look. Looks like Alex answered a question. That's perfect. Venus Hora is occurring every day. Yes, it occurs every day. And when you have the app, you'll be able to see that. It happens twice a day. Any questions? Post them in the chat room. Do we still have Shreem Brzee writing as a bonus? No, that one expired. We had one set of bonuses that expired on the full moon, and that was in it. And then Alex has a testimonial. Wanted to sign up, or wanted to say that when I finally committed to signing up for the program, the next day I received a bonus from my work that covered more than the cost. See, it works, people. You make the commitment, and the universe complies to your intention. And that's not the first time I heard that. There was a woman. It was a different program, but it was a very. It was like the equivalent of mystery school. So it was pretty expensive. It was one of the first light body programs. So we're talking like $700 a month. And it was a stretch for her, but she did it. She actually paid in advance. Like she was paying like a couple $1,000s up front for the year, and anyway, she was going to pay quarterly. And as soon as she did that, and she committed, and the next day she received like 3 new clients, and it's covered what she had put up. So there's a question: what is karma, and what are related actions to it? Related actions to it. So, what is karma? Karma is the law of cause and effect, and if you want to know what your karma is, look around you. Look at your life. Look at your bank balance. Look at your relationships. Look at where you live. Look at who you deal with. Look at where you work. That's the circumstances that your thoughts and actions have led you to right now. That's your karma. And when you want to shift that, you have to make a change, because if you continue to think the same thoughts, your life will continue the way it is. And if you want that, then awesome. But then if you want that, you probably wouldn't be on this webinar. So actions related to karma are the actions we do every day. And when we change our actions, we change our karma. So by chanting Shreem Brzee, it's an action, you're changing your karma. By not doing it and going on with your, kind of the default, then you're not shifting, and you're just staying in that realm of where you're at, and that's where you will continue to stay. I hope that helps. Abhi. Sorry, can't pronounce your name properly. Yankee is asking, okay, thank you. Yankee's asking, is the Wealth Rising booster package compulsory? No, it isn't. In fact, I can show you that on my screen, and you'll see how it all works. So the booster packages are the remedy packages that I mentioned, which I think are fantastic, but they're definitely not required, because they're really a bonus. The only thing, so here, if you see on the screen, I have the courses, right? So this is the sales page, by the way, first, and you'll see the silver and gold, and this is what comes with it, which is what I went through today. And here's you already get these remedies, which are awesome. And look at the value, but $1,255 versus $350. And then these are the booster packages. Now these give you additional remedies. So I didn't go through these today because I didn't want to overwhelm anyone, but if you go through my webinar on the sales page, I go through these in detail, and I talk through every one of these points. And this is where I suggest, let's say you're in silver, but you have a few extra dollars and you want to spend it on something, then you can basically boost your manifestation ability with these remedies. I hope that helps.
Since Mahalaya is going on, so what should our prayer be during Tarpanam at home? It is relating, this is in relation to manifesting with Shreem Brzee. Okay, so good question. So when you're doing your Tarpanam, your ancestor offering, after you make your offering and prayer to them, I usually just say, bless me. Um, like ask my ancestors to bless me. But recently I've been asking them to bless me for a certain project, certain money. So you can ask them just for specific types of blessings. Like, please shift my ability to conceive of money. Please shift my ability to create money. Please shower me with wealth blessings. That type of prayer. You're welcome. Any other questions? In which center Shreem Brzee is most effective, third eye or the heart center? I don't know, but Dr. Fly is going, when he in the program, he said he's going to give different techniques, and I think he's going to put the sound in different places and explain more about the where each the purpose and power of each center. So we'll be learning about that, and I don't know the answer to your question, Natalia. But you can certainly try it and see how it feels for you. That's what I like to do. I like to experiment with my meditations. Any other questions? How do I know if the third eye is working? You probably won't have to ask that question if the third eye is working. I know that sounds cheeky, but when the third eye awakens, there's a knowingness, there's intuition, there's ability to have more intelligence. And by intelligence, I don't mean book smart, I mean ability to know things. So usually it doesn't happen overnight. It's not kind of an awakening that is very dramatic, although that does happen to people. So it can be very, very, it's very transitional. And so you will want to look in your own life is how has your progress been made? Are you more intuitive now? Do you have a particular knowing? Can you scan situations or people? Do you have premonitions? Those type of things that have awakened and opened the third eye. Thank you, Ambika, for putting the sales page in there. Any other questions before we wrap up here? Yankee is asking, well, chanting during Venus Flora is important, but we need to chant more even outside Venus Flora to manifest fast, right? Yes. So, good question. We give you the ideal times to manifest or to chant because those times are highly charged and will have they're more efficient. It's like going to the movie when the movie's on, right? Like you want to show up to Venus Hora and chant Shreem Brzee because inside that time, Shreem Brzee will be more powerful. It doesn't mean don't chant throughout the rest of the day. By all means, chant all the time whenever you can. Please get that. Like chant all the time whenever you can. But if you can chant during Venus Hora, that's even better. And if you can chant during full moon all day, that's amazing. And writing, Dr. Pillai used to say to write 1,008 times on a full moon, Shreem Brzee or some mantra. So you're just getting enhanced benefits during the power times, but you should chant all the time. You're welcome. Are there different levels of the awakening? Some can see or understand more deeper. Yes, and that's what makes masters. So Dr. Pillai is is at a high level of awakening. He can see things, know things. He pulls things from other dimensions. That's why we're getting so much you've done a meditation with him or a program or something, you get a transmission, and that is because he has a higher level of awakening. And then we're all at our own levels, right? We're not everyone is God, everyone is goddess. So we have our own um, level of how that comes across in the world, and also how we own it or embody it, or how that our own energy comes through, and our level of experience and evolution. So you have it as well. And then, but when you tie yourself to someone who has a higher level of awakening to you, guess what? That person's going to bring you along with them. That's like anything. It's like you want to work for someone who knows what they're doing so you can learn from them, right? That's what mentorship is about. And you want to study with someone who knows what they're doing and who's more advanced than you by far, so that you can be taken up a few notches just by being in their presence, just by receiving their teachings. And that's what Dr. Pillai is. And that's why it's important to be inside of programs with him where he's pouring his consciousness into it. To manifest fast with Shreem Brzee, we need to work on our karma busting exercises whenever we can get a chance, right? Or the karma removal in this course is okay. Both. So when you join the program and they do the karma removal on your behalf on those 2 days during the month, that is one. It's kind of like covering your bases. And then we are also going to give you daily exercises for karma removal. And again, it depends on the practicality of your life and how much you can do, but we always suggest you do as much as you can and work it into your schedule. But there's going to be both. They're going to be doing it for you in India, and then you're going to be doing it yourself. And yes, karma removal is going to be very important to be able to wash away the karma, the container, the thought processes, the mindset that we have that restricts us from conceiving bigger and being able to manifest. Great, you're welcome. Any other questions? All right, folks. Looks like there's no more questions. I'm going to wrap it up. The link to the program is there in the chat. If you register this week, you will receive the Fire Lab on Friday, as well as the teaching call. If you register today, by tomorrow, you'll have access to the online program, which is the preparatory program, there's a new teaching by Dr. Pillai in there. There's meditation audios in there. There's the teaching calls that I did last week and the week before, which help set you up with your daily practice, and you can literally begin now. So the sooner you register, the sooner you begin, the sooner miracles start happening. As Alex mentioned, when he registered, the next day he received a bonus that covered the cost of the registration. So encourage you to take action, take a commitment to yourself, to your wealth, to your future, and let's go on this beautiful journey together where Dr. Pillai is 100% committed to helping us all raise our wealth consciousness. Thank you all for attending, and I hope to see you in the program. I'll be the teacher for the gold level, and I love connecting with you all, and just look forward to an amazing program together. So we will talk to you soon. Namaste.